Slightly overcast as the Rockies get back home to take on the Washington Nationals. They have not seen Washington this year for the Nationals. The Rockies are the only National League team that they have yet to play, and they'll get to be old friends over the next couple of weeks because the Rockies will be in the our nation's capital in about 2 weeks to take on the Nats there. And Jorge De La Rosa is ready to go. He's had success, plenty of it, in his career against the Nationals. And the first pitch is over for strike one. At Coors Field in particular, he's 2-1 with a 2.53 ERA against Washington. Well, this is the kid that just came up, one of the top prospects in the game, Trey Turner, and he can really go, as Spilly said. In fact, Davey Lopes, the first base coach for the Nationals, Davey with the Dodgers for years, said, "I'd like to see him run against Dee Gordon and Billy Hamilton." He said that would be quite a threesome to see who's fastest. That's high praise right there.
FP Santangelo, that's in the broadcast booth next to it with the Washington Nationals, said on a swing to shortstop. They timed him at a 3.6 down the first baseline, 90 feet. Major league average for a right-hander is about 4.3 seconds.
And you notice Daniel Descalso on the left side. When the pitch comes, he's in off the dirt probably 6-8 feet, which, you know, ordinarily you wouldn't be that close, especially with a 2-strike count. But you got to get rid of the baseball with this kid. He's hitting .319 since his call up, and a strikeout by De La Rosa. Good start. One gone, and that'll bring up Jason Worth. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for Dusty Baker. Daniel Murphy, we're bragging on him. He's had an extraordinary year. Bryce Harper has struggled. He just played yesterday again for the first time in 5 games. He's battled neck and shoulder issues. Anthony Rendon, Wilson Ramos had a breakout year. Danny Espinosa has popped. Ben Revere with a lot of speed in the 8th spot in the lineup. Here's Worth. Then he takes down low ball 1. Worth has reached in 42 straight games. That's one shy of tying the Nationals team record held by the injured Ryan Zimmerman. You said, man, he's hitting only 253. How's he not hitting higher than that? It's kind of one of those deals where he throws out a hit a night and he's walked in there, and that's why he's reached 42 consecutive ball games. Larry Walker on that list for Expos/Nationals.
I always forget that the Washington Nationals were the Montreal Expos. And I believe the last player to be from the Montreal Expos organization signed with the Texas Rangers that last offseason. That was Ian Desmond.
You're absolutely right. Ian Desmond was the last guy who was associated with the days in Montreal. That's foul. And now Desmond, you saw him having a great year down in Arlington.
I never played in the major leagues when Montreal was still an organization. It's always been the Washington Nationals for me, going back to our times when we would go to JFK, the stadium in RFK. The stadium in Washington.
2-2 on Worth, splitter count. Instead it's a cutter in, 3-2. Well, I will tell you that it was a joy to go to Montreal because it was such a great city, and you felt like you were in Europe. Stade Olympique, not the best stadium. And there's a big push to get Major League Baseball back to Montreal. That misses in, and a walk to Worth, so now he has reached it 43 straight. Take a look at some of the numbers on De La Rosa. You know with De La, you're going to deal with some walks. That's why his whip is up there. He's a traffic cop on the mound.
Traffic cop, and this ends up being his 300th game in the major leagues. 235 career starts, 182 overall. There's the arsenal for him. The fastball throws about 35% of the time, but you have to add that with the cut fastball that he's been using a lot more. The last start that De La Rosa had.
Hard shot at Nolan. He's got to scramble and get him at first. That was a double play ball. So You know, Nolan, you can have hitting slumps, you can have fielding slumps. We're not used to seeing it from Nolan. This ball was a hot shot, but
stays down and it hits the end of the web. But what Nolan does so great is that he's able to recover. A lot of times we've seen him mishandle quite a bit of balls of late, but he's able to recover, not panic, and still find an out.
Here's the Rockies alignment defensively. Dahl Blackman, Cargo back in there. Ben Paulson's at first this evening. Nick Hundley doing the catching. So with 2 outs and now a runner in scoring position, Bryce Harper comes up. Had a double early in the ball game yesterday. He actually thought he hit it out. 9-1 victory for Washington at home against Atlanta. He had to talk his way back in the lineup. Dusty wanted to give him another day with the neck issue, and he went in his office, according to Dusty, early in the day, and he said, please, 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 I really want to play. And Dusty said, you know, when a kid says please that many times, he said I had to let him in. See, he was watching this. He thought he hit it out, and it's going to
Wasn't even close.
The wall.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
No. 1-1 on Harper, last year's unanimous National League MVP. And the breaking ball misses. Bryce hitting just .208 this year, left on left. Got off to the good start. They were talking about it on the pregame show. .286 in April with 9 home runs. But since then, just a .220 average and 11 home runs. There's a big swing, but kind of bailed a little bit.
You can see that, and watch this Bryce Harper. You're gonna see the front hip just pull straight out as if he's just looking to pull the baseball. Oftentimes, as we watch Cargo and DJ, we know how good they are at keeping that front hip closed a little bit longer. That allows that bat to stay on plane just long enough that you can drive the baseball. When you're trying to pull off-speed pitches from the beginning, you're gonna be an out.
3-2. Anthony Rendon, the third baseman, is on deck. Here's the 3-2, and Harper bounces this one foul. Bryce Harper, it's hard to believe sometimes. We've been talking about him for years. He's still just 23. He's on the cover of Sports Illustrated at 16. Hit 500-foot jacks in Las Vegas.
Well, he graduated high school early so he can go to a junior college, and went to the College of Southern Nevada, which is a woodback junior college, and dominated the league.
Yeah, back-to-back walks. And you know what? That's not a good walk. Again, he's struggling against lefties, 208. And now you're going to deal with a right-handed bat. De La Rosa was not pitching around Bryce Harper. He's struggling. So that was not, you know, one of those ones you classify and say, hey, that's okay. Then you got 2 on for Rendon, who is swinging the bat well. He's hitting 18 of his last 23, a .321 average during that period of time.
Well, we know walks always come back to bite you, especially at Coors Field.
And this ball is well hit right center field. Going back is Cargo, and he's going to have room on the track. So no harm done by the 2 walks. And we'll see the Rockies on offense against Max Scherzer when we come back. about the weekend in Philadelphia? He set a new Rockies record with 5 home runs over those 3 games. Mako big hit. It's Mako big hits. 5 of them. Unfortunately for Charlie, they were all solo shots. He hit 3 on Friday night. Took Saturday off and then blasted 2 more on Sunday. Something to behold. For the 4th time in his career, Charlie, the National League Player of the Week. He'll lead it off against hard throwing Max Scherzer, 32-year-old out of the University of Missouri. One of the game's elite pitchers, and his first fastball's on the outside corner. 7 games, 563 average, 7 home runs. That'll get you the big trophy.
What better?
Gets a nice watch as the National League Player of the Week.
Rockies are going to have their hands full with Max Scherzer. Just great command, one of the better secondary pitchers in baseball. Throw a cutter, a slider, changeup, curveball. Numbers speak for themselves. 12-7, but you make an argument that he should be 16-4. He's had several games. The number that'll stick out, he's given up 24 homers. Nice play by David Murphy first. Daniel Murphy.
Good to see Charlie's cooled off, huh? That was a rocket. Love made a good play for Murphy. Here's the Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss this evening. DJ right behind Charlie Blackmon naturally. Cargo comes back to the lineup. His last start was Saturday, in which he went 2 for 5. Then Nolan, David Dahl, Descalso, Hundley, Paulson, and De La Rosa. DJ's hot streak's been overshadowed by what Blackmon's done. Fastball is in there for a strike. Tonight is DJ's 600th game with the Rockies. 16th player to play that many in a Colorado uniform. Congrats to DJ. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Scherzer works with good tempo. This is his 25th start of the year. Called that a strike on the swing down at first base. That's Mark Carlson.
If you're going to get Max Scherzer, you have to get him in the first inning. 13 runs allowed in the first inning in 24 of his starts. He's also given up 24 home runs.
Went slider. 2-2. He has an explosive fastball. He gets a really high rate of swings and misses on his heater. In fact, it's right around 25%, a little bit above, which again is unusually high for a fastball. This is lobbed into right center field. It'll drop in front of Harper. So DJ with a 1-out single.
Max Scherzer leads baseball with a 150 batting average against right-handers, but DJ isn't your prototypical right-hander. He's able to pull his hands inside. He's not afraid to get beat, which puts Max at a bit of a disadvantage given the fact that all of those off-speed pitches don't really come into play with DJ. He won't get fooled by them.
One out, and here's Cargo. Cargo's 3 for 10 lifetime against Max Scherzer. And guess what the 3 hits were?
Homers.
All bombs. That's down low. Good take. This is last year against Scherzer. That's a slider. August 9th, I should say, that he hit out. And then a fastball later on in the afternoon. We remember, Scherzer remembers.
For Scherzer.
Very nice. Cargo stayed off that. It's 2-0. Cargo had a 19-game hitting streak. It died last night with the pinch hitting appearance in which he struck out. He's been locked in August, hitting over 400. On the outside corner, good pitcher's pitch, 2-0. It's actually off the plate. Quinn Walcott gave him that pitch. You almost want to say Quinn. He's good enough. You don't have to give him an extra 2-3 inches on the corner.
Scherzer has a lot of late life on his pitches. He can run it up there 95, 97 miles an hour, but more importantly, that movement late.
It's in a similar spot. It's called ball 3, 3-1.
Talk about the explosive fastball. I faced Scherzer back in the day when he was with Arizona, and the arm slot, it's so hard to pick up, and he throws the fastball above the belt.
Those fastballs, it looks good, but it's not good for you. They set up away, 3-1. And it's line foul. Wasn't that uncomfortable time right there where you thought Cargo was going to call time and back out? Scherzer was concerned DJ may take off and really held the ball for a long period. And we'll see if DJ's in motion here, 3-2. Not going, and this is bounced over Murphy, but foul. Check the gloves for the Nationals. They do everything well. They've been an outstanding defensive team all year. Daniel Murphy starting at first base. Trey Turner's a guy that can play center, can play short. Espinosa, good glove at short, strong arm. Anthony Rendon at third, Worth, Revere, and Harper. And Harper's a plus defender in right. Ramos has been solid behind the plate. Another 3-2 outside, ball 4. So now the Rockies have 2 on for Nolan here in the first. He pitched Cargo with the utmost respect. He really didn't throw him a strike. Maybe one.
He's living away from Cargo, and pitchers remember. They remember you're 3 for 10 with 3 home runs. As they're doing their video work before the game, and maybe yesterday, I was looking at the highlights of how he got Cargo out. Probably can't help but notice the 3 home runs Cargo hit.
Nolan yesterday threw out a couple of base hits. He's been scuffling. He was just 3 for 19 on the road trip. Last time he was home, he was on fire, though. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. Like all the good ones, it seems like they find another gear on their fastball when there's some traffic. Max Scherzer's last pitch was 95. He'd been working about 92. Mayhew at second, a base hit. Cargo, the trail runners at first. After walking, there's 1 out, no score. Bottom of 1. Scherzer spun that one.
Amazing numbers on Max Scherzer. He does not have 1 pitch. This is the slider down and away. Batters in the last month and a half have hit over 200. Slider on at bats. Hitters are hitting 052.
It's silly. On the season against the slider, they're hitting 123, so it wasn't appreciably better prior to the last 6 weeks. Good swing. Met the challenge of a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Scherzer's a 5-pitch guy.
And the cut fastball, you see 6%, but he's starting to use that a lot more, and he's coupling that with the slider, so he's getting the hard cut with the fastball and then backing it up with a little bit slower with the slider to really get that differential. And as a result, the numbers for him, as I just mentioned, none of his pitches, anybody's hitting over 200.
Scherzer won a Cy Young with Detroit, 21-3. Remains a 2-strike count on Arenado. David Dahl is on deck. That's a pitch that induces a lot of swings and misses. That's a tremendous take right there. 0-2 by Nolan.
Exactly what Nolan wants to do is make sure, especially at home, we know Nolan, you feel comfortable. It's been a bit of a grind for him of late. Familiar batter's eye of Coors Field. You're seeing the baseball a little bit better.
And now it's level at 2-2.
Well, we know how much Nolan torments so many different teams in the major leagues. In 16 career games against the Washington Nationals, he's 20 for 62. That's a .323 average with 4 homers and 8 RBIs.
Good look at one of the all-time winningest managers in the history of the game, Dusty Baker. But Scherzer does hold the ball a long time when there's people on base. 2-2 count on Nolan. It's 1 for 6 lifetime against Scherzer. Great numbers against Washington as a club. Inside, now it's 3-2. That tells you something also. I mean, we know how great a hitter Nolan is. Hit .323 against the Nats because you're going to see the last few years, you're going to see really good pitching, whether it's Scherzer or Strasburg or Gio Gonzalez or Zimmerman, who's now with Detroit.
Yep.
You were seeing a big time arm. And their pen has been stacked also. Pen stacked this year. Even with letting Papelbon go, they have the #1 bullpen ERA in the game. 3-2.
Good
and
take.
A great take. What an at-bat. That's an at-bat that can really get you back online, can't it, Spilly?
It sounds so funny to say great take, but it really is a great take, and I'll tell you why. Front foot is not falling hard on the baseball. That means he's seen it. He's seen it nice and clear. He's watching it into the glove. Scherzer liked the location. He wanted him to chase, and he knew he didn't go after it. Part of the reason why is because Nolan had a great take. He was taking himself to where his head wasn't moving so much.
Great opportunity for the Rockies to get on the board first against Scherzer with Dahl and his great speed at the plate. Bases loaded, 1 out. He slashes at a fastball and fouls it back. Scherzer's a studious guy. You can watch video on this kid Dahl, but he's never faced him, and it's different when you're watching tape versus having experience and seeing the swing live. Same thing for his catcher Wilson Ramos. This ball driven to center field and deep, and Revere is going to watch it go off the wall. 2 runs is scored. Here comes Nolan. He'll get a stop sign late. 2-run double from the kid David Dahl. That was a Cargo-esque line drive. Revere just turned around and said, I got to play this off the wall. That's how hard this ball was hit.
David Dahl not afraid to let the ball travel, and he does not care who's on the mound. It is Max Scherzer. I don't care about that. Slider spinning right in the middle of the plate. David Dahl just drops the barrel on it. That is such a beautiful swing. Nolan had a chance to score from first, but Revere plays this very well off the wall, gets it in quick, even with his weak arm, gets it right to Espinosa, who fires it home. Still have an opportunity to score some more runs by even hitting a ground ball with an out.
Infield's back. Descalso takes a breaking ball for a strike. I mean, this is such a contrast to what Max Scherzer is used to. Take his last outing, for instance. He had a no-hitter in the 7th inning against an outstanding Indians club. It's like every outing when he is on, which he typically is, he could flirt with a no-hitter. He has 2 career no-nos.
15 earned runs allowed now in the 1st inning in 25 games. Just as with any pitcher, especially a horse like Max Scherzer, try to jump on them early. Don't let them settle into the game, and the Rockies have done a good job making sure they take quality at bats and jump on them when they have the chance.
Important at bat here for Descalso. Got to get it in play. Well, that's easier said than done. You're talking about the premier strikeout artist in the game right now, leading baseball with 208 punch-outs coming in. Two and two.
Scouts has been great in these opportunities with runners in scoring position, hitting well over 400. Even though he's in a 2-2 count, he's found a way to come through.
Scherzer has already thrown 30 pitches. Rockies with a great game plan. Made him work. Cargo worked out a walk after the base hit by LeMahieu. Nolan was behind 0-2 and worked out a walk. And then the booming double from David Dahl. 2-2 with 1 out. 2 runs already in. And now it's full on Descalso. 31 pitches, 16 in the zone, 15 out of the zone. So the Rockies not chasing.
Scherzer has faced the Rockies 7 different times. He's 0-3 at Coors Field with a 5.32 ERA. That's a 3.04 batting average for the Rockies at Coors Field as well.
With 2 parks he's never won a game at. Coors Field and PNC in Pittsburgh. 3-2. This will get the job done. Revere will move back in left center. Nolan's going to be able to jog home. And here's Dahl moving up from second to third. Well done, Daniel Descalso. 3-0 Colorado. How often does this happen? 3 runs in the first, and then you get a visit from Mike Maddox, your pitching coach.
It's just good situational baseball, especially for Daniel Descalso. You're backwards in the count with 2 strikes, and you find a way against a pitcher like Max Scherzer. The pedigree and his ability to strike out batters over 200 this season. To get the job done, just hit a fly ball to center. Good start for the Rockies.
Folks, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs, then they're on their way. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Mas at Taco Bell. 3-0 Colorado here in the first. Nick Hundley at the plate with David Dahl at third. Nick's warmed up the last couple of days, last couple of starts. 5 for his last 9 at the plate. Nick 1 for 5 against Scherzer. There's a heavy workload in this first frame for Max Scherzer. Hits it in the air to right field. Bryce Harper's out there. fair ground. He makes the catch. But the Rockies get 3 in the first. Bases loaded double. David Dahl. How about his rookie campaign so far?
He's good.
Max Scherzer as Jorge De La Rosa is on the mound in the second inning. Here's our Office Liquidators series storyline. Get back on track. Tough road trip. Rockies is 1-4. They've lost 9 of their last 11 after being the hottest team in baseball to begin the second half. And Scherzer has not pitched well at Coors Field, and he's not happy with that first frame, I guarantee you. Charlie Blackmon, as we discussed, we knew it yesterday. The week he had, you kidding me? 4th time he's been National League Player of the Week. They need a rocket in the first inning. Let's not forget that Daniel Murphy caught.
Now we have to give a shout out to Ellen and Myron Blackmon, who we know are watching. Congratulations to your son in the National League Player of the Week.
Yeah, you were the impetus behind it when you said his beard's disgusting.
It was not. That's not what I said.
That's what I heard. Wilson Ramos at the plate with 1 strike. Curveball dropped in there. It's 0-2 on Ramos. What a difference a year has made with Ramos. Last year he hit .229, some home runs, big strong guy, hit 15 last year. This year he's 103 points better. He's 2nd in the league in hitting. He's got 18 home runs, 65 ribbies. One of the reasons he feels like he's made great strides, he went and had LASIK surgery in the offseason. It helps to be able to see the baseball, doesn't it?
Who would have guessed that that would work? See the baseball?
His whiff percentage is way down. Strikeout percentage went from 1 out of every 5 at bats to now 1 out of every 8 at bats. It's a big drop off. Descalso low throw handled by Paulson. And that'll bring up the shortstop Danny Espinosa. About the Nationals record, Spilly, coming in at 69-47, the only team with a better winning percentage. The Cubs will be here over the weekend, and they've handled their injuries. I mean, Bryce Harper's had a down year. Ryan Zimmerman has been out, and yet there they are, leading the East by 8.5 games.
It's amazing what good pitching and solid defense does.
Espinosa line shot caught by Descalso, 2 outs.
That's a nice swing. Out. Descalso, good quick first step.
It'll be Spilly yelling from center field.
Go
Great swing, sit out.
Go get your glove.
You had the whole arsenal going, didn't
Whole
you?
arsenal, he just wear you out.
Ben Revere. Ben's kind of calmed down his hand movement. Remember with the Phillies?
I don't know. It's still a lot. Ben Revere was part of a trade that sent Drew Storen to Toronto Blue Jays. Storen, who is last year's closer for the Washington Nationals, was really supplanted once the Nationals made a trade with Philadelphia to get Jonathan Papelbon.
0-2, and that's caught. Ben Paulson robs Ben Revere. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for De La Rosa. Couple of line drives snared in the infield. One by Descalso, and that was a beauty by Paulson. Rockies up 3-0.
Nothing on Max Scherzer. He's a really tough pitcher. He's gone 7 innings 16 times in his 25 starts this season. So it's a big challenge for the Rockies. They did great in the first half. Carlos Gonzalez talked about what his approach is going to be against Max Scherzer.
You got to go out there and be aggressive. You know, if he's going to throw you strikes, just trying to get him early because he got a lot of weapons, and if you get to 2 strikes, so it's going to be a little hard to guess what he's going to throw. So that's why he has success and he strike out a lot of people.
Scherzer with over 200 strikeouts. Drew, you talked about it's his 5th consecutive season with 200-plus strikeouts on the year. It's impressive. The Rockies off to a great start.
They're off to a fabulous start. Ben Paulson lifts this ball to left center field. Ben Revere will make the catch, 1 out. That'll bring up Jorge De La Rosa. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean and Crisp Coors Light. Clayton Kershaw, 6 straight 200 strikeout seasons. That's going to end this year because Clayton's been out for so long. They're hoping to get him back in September. Or the Dodgers. And Max Scherzer, 5 straight. Chris Sale the last 3 years. The Rockies have had a 200 strikeout pitcher only twice in their history. Give you an idea of how tough it is to punch out 200. 1-1 on De La Rosa.
What?
That's down the left field line, a base hit.
Do it, Jorge De La Rosa. Loves it. His teammates love it.
2 Rockies to produce 200 strikeout performances. I'll tell you after this second look at this base hit.
Yeah, well off the plate. Jorge just slaps it down the left field line right past a very good defensive third baseman in Anthony Rendon.
Pedro Estacio struck out 200. Ubaldo struck out more than 200. Now 1 out. Great wheels at first at De La Rosa, and here's Blackman.
Look at these numbers again. I wanted to see who had the highest batting average for the Rockies against Max Scherzer. The name might surprise you, Drew. He's 3 for 5. Johan Flande. Remember that game? He went 3 for 5 against Max Scherzer.
A little bit. Charlie with a 1-1 count. He had a line shot at Daniel Murphy in the bottom of the first inning. Rocky scored 3 times, 2 coming around in the bottom of the first on a David Dahl 400-foot double with the bases juiced. Player of the week, Charlie Blackman. And he's going to have to get new lumber. Charlie was asked the other day after hitting 3 home runs in the game Friday in Philadelphia if he was going to retire the bat. He said, no, heck no.
You think that was the bat right there that did all the damage?
He's going to keep it after it breaks. I don't.
That one that just broke. Do you think that was the one that did all the damage?
Well, I'm trying to remember if he broke one since then.
I don't think so.
Find out.
That was Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy just went down.
Died a happy death, and he was a productive Wonder Boy while he was in one piece.
I think the Bat Boy just handed him the Savoy Special, so we're good.
Look out, light standard then. One and 2. Good eye for Blackman. Beautiful night, just 82 degrees. I say just because the last week the Rockies have been in. This ball's clubbed to right, and Harper makes a sliding catch. You can't hit the ball harder than Blackman has his first 2 appearances against Scherzer. He's got nothing to show for it.
It's always frustrating when you make good swings and you're out. Charlie's just constantly making hard, solid contact. Harper slipped it for a second in right field. Does a good job on the Subaru Super Mode to make up for it.
LeMahieu with that base hit in the first. Now hit 10 of his last 11, 447 average during that period of time. It's out of play. Yes, it's 82 degrees. Everywhere we've been the last few weeks has been like 6,000 degrees.
Purgatory.
Now it's even more comfortable, 78. One and 1. Home plate umpire tonight's Quinn Walcott. We told you that. Mark Carlson's at first, Clint Fagan at second, and Brian Gorman is the boss. Brian is at third base. And this is lobbed to center field, and this will drop. Second hit for LeMahieu. will allow Cargo to hit here with 2 on.
Two for two for DJ LeMahieu. Polar opposite of Charlie Blackmon, has not hit 2 balls hard, but has 2 hits to show for it. Slider down and away. The long reach of DJ LeMahieu able to put it in play. Ben Revere is playing way into right center field.
Cargo walked his first time up. Yeah, Patrick, I agree with you. He could get hits in a phone booth. Find the empty space, wouldn't he? Outside ball 1. That's how Scherzer worked Cargo last time. Jiffy Cargo, you start looking out there. And it's 2-0. Cargo staying patient during his 19-game hitting streak, which ended in that pinch hitting appearance yesterday. He had 361, 4 home runs, 24 driven in. He had 11 doubles during that stretch. Cargo leads the National League in second half RBIs with 25. 2-0.
Impressive list, and the name that stands out is Nolan. Talk about the slump he's been in. Just Nolan not really being Nolan, and he still finds a way to produce RBIs and runs. Cargo chased the pitch 2-0. That was probably off the plate. We can get him to narrow back down and find a strike he can handle.
Got a fastball, and that was on the inner half. Fouled it off 2-2. I think that foot's probably going to be sore, that ankle, the rest of the way, because you're never going to get enough time off of it to have it heal properly. He did not play yesterday because it was a day game after a night game. And Cargo bounces this to second. This will end the inning. Thrown out by Trey Turner. Rockies got a base hit, and there was actually 2 hits because of De La Rosa. 3-0 they lead as we go to the third. On Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by GMC. So far, so good. The Rockies leading Max Scherzer and the Nationals 3-0. And Jorge De La Rosa in the third inning will begin with Scherzer. That's always a good thing when you face a pitcher leading off. 9-1-2 for the Nats. Nats beginning a long road trip after playing 3 here in Colorado. They'll head to Atlanta, play the Braves 4 times, and then they still have some work to do with Baltimore, that natural rivalry, the Beltway. Dusty Baker's been a godsend for this club, hasn't he?
You hear about his methods. His methods are pretty straightforward. Former player, great player with the Giants and the Dodgers, and he's one of the best communicators as far as a manager goes in baseball. We'll let the guys know if they have days off. We'll constantly walking down, up and down the lineup. It's a base hit from Max Scherzer. He'll walk up and down and make sure he lets the guys know, hey, I might not be starting tonight, but I might need you. I might need you to come up big. And that makes all the difference in the world for guys. When you come to the ballpark and you know your role, it's completely different. You see the record, 17-40, 529 career record.
He is second among active managers to Bruce Bochy in wins. One of 10 managers all time to lead 3 different franchises to the postseason. San Francisco, of course, Chicago, Cincinnati. 3 times he's been the National League Manager of the Year. Suffice it to say, if you can't play for Dusty Baker, it's on you.
You can't play for anybody if you can't play for Dusty. Nobody.
He's exactly what this team needed after the tumultuous finish last year, where you had Jonathan Papelbon and their MVP. See him in the picture. Their right fielder Bryce Harper playing MMA in the far end of the dugout. Unfortunately, Matt Williams was oblivious to it at the time. This ball's in the air to fairly deep center field, actually really deep center field. Leaping catch out there by Blackman to take extra bases from Turner. 1 out.
Pay attention. That's a great play by Charlie Blackman in center field, but you may watch and see if Max Scherzer touched second base when the ball, after he caught it. So the Rockies may challenge and take a look. You have to touch it twice if he didn't touch it.
Can't do the old Larry Walker in the minor leagues. What we're talking about is you have to retrace your steps. Larry famously told this story on the air with us.
I don't think the Rockies players saw it. No, they step off. See if they're going to throw it to second.
He never. We've been told inside he never got the second. Watch Scherzer. He stopped right short of the bag.
It looked pretty close from up here.
This ball's hammered to deep left by Worth, and it's going to get on out of here. Jason Worth makes it a 1-run game with his 16th of the year.
Nationals went out and signed Jason Worth after years with the Philadelphia Phillies, where he was hitting 27, 36 home runs back-to-back years. He's never hit more than 27 with the Nationals. That ball was hit a long way. 16th of the season. Looking in, looking fastball. There's no doubt in my mind he was trying to cheat inside and hit it out.
Looked like he got a cutter in, and he got the barrel to it. They're second in the National League in home runs. That was their 155th. That ball flew 442 feet. Career home run number 214 for Worth. 0-1 on Daniel Murphy. He had a hard shot at Nolan his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Worth's kind of like Chuck Nasty. He hasn't changed his look the last couple of years. You were breaking down Murphy earlier today. This is a simple approach. Toe up, Not a lot of hand movement, not a lot. I mean, he's balanced at the beginning of the swing, he's balanced when he finishes.
It's the Kevin Long just trying to make sure you're down early. Rudy Jaramillo years ago with the Texas Rangers, same type of approach where you're trying to get that foot down, get your momentum through the baseball.
He was decent in the NLCS last year against the Cubs for the Mets, wasn't he?
He's as hot as Charlie Blackmon was last week in the playoffs.
He's the MVP of that NLCS. The Royals took out the Mets in the World Series. 2-2 on Murphy, high 3-2.
Do these numbers not sound similar to Charlie Blackmon? 16 for 38, 421 batting average, 7 home runs, 11 RBIs, 11 runs.
That's ridiculous stuff. It was reminiscent of Beltran years ago in the postseason for Kansas City. Or for Houston, I should say. 3-2 on Murphy. Fouled that off his foot.
The key when you get your foot down early, and you'll see it as we're watching Daniel Murphy, is to not spin on the front foot. You want to let that back knee kind of push towards center field to get that momentum through the baseball. Otherwise, if you're just putting your foot down and spinning, you have no control of where the bat path is going to stay. So something Kevin Long preaches is for his back knee to drive towards the pitcher.
He got out on his front foot a little bit. Carr going right, waiting. He has it for the second out. And that'll bring up Bryce Harper again. That's been a rough year for Bryce Harper. Made a little bit easier because his club is performing so well. But look at the contrast. Last year, he was the best player in the National League. Again, a unanimous MVP. 42 home runs. That tied Nolan. 649 slugging percentage. On base percentage 460. And this year, all the numbers, not just down a little bit, they're down considerably. It makes one believe, because this guy's so gifted, that maybe there's more to that neck, shoulder situation than he is allowing. He's just too good to be hitting 234.
Last year had that OPS over 1,000. This year it's at 815. That's pedestrian for him. 800 is a good average major league player. That's a good solid number. If you have an OPS that's on base plus slugging, and you're adding your on base percentage plus slugging, and it equals about 800, that's a good year. That's a good player. You start creeping up into 900s. You're a player like Charlie Blackmon, your all-star level. You get in the thousands. Now you're talking MVP.
0-2, and that was swatted into right field. Cargo trying to cut it off, and Harper will have a double.
Looks like an off-speed pitch that Bryce Harper is able to get down and in, and he's been pulling off. So that's a pitch that primarily, that's about the only pitch he can handle at this point. De La Rosa happened to throw it right into that zone. That's a cool look. From behind the net, behind the gate.
That was Jim Huggs. Huxley would put him in timeout, so that's why he's down there.
I like that.
Anthony Rendon, a fly ball to right, his first time up. 2 outs, 2 runs in on the Worth home run, and this is a hard shot to Descalso. That ends the frame, but it's 3-2 now. The Rockies lead trimmed to 1. Nolan will lead it off when we come back to Coors Field.
Rockies in front. Brad Thompson here with you from Coors Field. And I want to talk about Mark Reynolds, give you an update on his injury. He had surgery today in Vail at the Stedman Clinic. Dr. Randy Viola removed the fractured hook of the hamate bone in his left hand. And Walt said what's tricky is trying to get him back. The timeline is kind of mid-September to late September, and there's really nowhere for him to go to make a rehab start and get some ABs to get Major League ready at that time. So we'll just have to wait and see if Reynolds heals quickly and gets back in time. But it's a little tricky right now with the timeline. Drew?
Yeah, when guys get hurt this time of year, it does become very tricky. That's in there. 2 strikes on Nolan. And Mark Reynolds in his career has been very, very durable. He's trying to play through some pain issues in that hand. Had been going on for a while, and then he broke it. And Nolan goes down on 3 pitches. That'll bring up David Dahl, who drove in 2 with a bases loaded double in the first. Line the ball off the base of the center field wall. The Rockies' approach has been outstanding. Scherzer racks up strikeouts. That was his first of the night. Here's what David Dahl did.
Gotta love it. You miss middle to David Dahl, and yes, he's a rookie. He's proving to Max Scherzer as he drives another ball to center field. This one will be caught. He's proving to baseball he's not scared. He's taking quality approach no matter who he is, and his numbers, his splits, better against lefties in the minor leagues, better against lefties in the major leagues. He's proving he's an everyday player.
2 outs. That was a good pass there again. Stayed in the middle of the field. He hit that hard. Daniel Descalso, who had a great at bat in the first inning, produced a sacrifice fly to center. Such an unusual series in Philadelphia from a couple of different standpoints. The one that really stands out for me, if you will, is that the Rockies hit 8 home runs in Philadelphia in 3 games. Usually you're talking about winning a couple if you hit 8 home runs, right? And they ended up getting swept. 3-0. It may sound silly to say this, but it may not be the worst time in the world for the Rockies to see the Nationals and the Cubs. Not that anybody's clamoring to face the 2 best teams in baseball, but the Rockies typically get up for the top shelf opponents. Said that a bunch with the Giants. This ball's well hit to right, and Harper misread it. It's over his head. Descalso on his way to third. Harper acted the whole time like it was going to be a routine catch. And he has a great reputation as an outfielder. And that one went over his head for a triple.
Off the bat, it sounded like Daniel hit it pretty hard, and that's why I was curious watching Bryce Harper's path to the baseball, why he wasn't getting back harder. You know about Bryce Harper and his neck, that's probably not going to feel good. The only thing fortunate for Bryce Harper is he happens to jump straight into the padding. Move to the right or the left. Could have gone straight into the cage.
And Conley takes a slider for a strike. Rockies continue to take high quality swings against Max Scherzer.
Gotta learn to respect the power of Daniel Descalso.
Got a good swing, doesn't he?
He's got a great swing. It's quiet. It's compact. He can hit the ball opposite field. And just like Charlie Blackmon, his strength is pulling the baseball.
Conley battling with 2 strikes. Rockies trying to produce a 2-out run. 0-2. I'd say right now, Spilly, he's throwing more sliders than fastballs.
Of late, first inning, he was trying to find that fastball command. Couldn't find it. Definitely did not have cutter command. He's avoided his changeup. He's avoided his curveball. He's primarily just pitching slider.
Ramos sets up away 0-2. And that is on the inside corner. Quinn Walcott says it caught the inside corner. That'll end the inning. Descalso left at third after tripling. The Rockies leading 3-2. We're off to the fourth. Two and then 3 against the Chicago Cubs this weekend. Join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, photos, questions. Use Twitter or Instagram. Use the hashtag ToyotaTalk, and you are in business. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs upstairs. We have a friend with us. Ryan Harper's joined us. Anson Harper. I was talking about Bryce Harper. Almost made you part of his family. Anson's with us. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Great. Yeah, never could be better.
Good. Rockies up 3-2. We were chit-chatting away a little bit. Who's your favorite players?
Gonzalez or Arenado?
Can't go wrong with either one of those guys, right?
Well, you have to have one of each. You have to have a righty and a lefty.
This ball's pulled down the line. Foul by Wilson Ramos. Do you remember when the guy next to you was playing? Are you old enough to remember the guy next to you, Ryan Spilborghs? The deep recesses of your mind.
Don't know.
He was really, he was really good. He was a little goofy.
When did you start really liking the Rockies?
2009, basically.
Yeah. I was there.
Then.
I was on the team in 2009.
What number?
I was 19.
Hey, that was my favorite player for a while, actually.
That's
I didn't know your name,
awesome.
but I would always say like 19 is my favorite number.
19,
awesome. That's how it works.
And then you know, Spilly was nice enough to pass it on to Charlie Blackmon. Charlie's pretty darn good, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He had a great week.
Would you ever grow out a beard like Charlie's?
Yeah.
You would?
Oh yeah.
So would I.
You got some time to work on that, though, Anson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll trying to grow it already.
So you quit shaving, huh?
Probably.
That ball's bounced foul. We got a beautiful evening. Clouds moved out. It's perfect. And again, another look at that sunset. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon, this series against Washington. Thursday's an off day for the Rockies. This is why Ramos is hitting 330 versus 229 like last year. He's able to spoil pitchers' pitches, Billy.
It's amazing how when you see a hitter just start to get calm at the plate. Not a lot of head movement. See the ball travel. They're able to fight off so many more pitches, and that's what I see with Wilson Ramos.
I'm always impressed when a catcher can hit for a really high average, because this is a big, thick, strong guy. He's not getting leg hits. And that's down the line. Nolan with time, high throw, but Paulson is 6'3", came down on the bag.
You like that play? So you want to give us the replay on it?
Sure.
There you go.
There you
So
go.
hits it down the line, just gets over. He had to jump for it, just got it there.
Good job. One more time in slow-mo.
As you see here, gets the ball, picks it up, throws it to first base, just gets it over his head though. Gets it down just in time.
I love it.
Perfect. Great job. Give me a high five on that one. Awesome. Spilly, you're done.
I'm done.
Hansen's taking over. Danny Espinosa at the plate. He lined to short his first time up.
Had a good run. It was fun while it lasted, Drew.
We'll send you a parting gift.
I'll take one of the bobbleheads.
Throwback bobblehead.
That's inside. Nationals arrived a few minutes before the Rockies did last night. Rockies and Washington flying from basically the same part of the country. Philadelphia and DC not altogether far apart. Rockies landed about 9 o'clock last night or so, 9:20. Slider at the bottom of the zones in there for a strike, 2-1.
The Rockies did not take batting practice today, and part of it is when you get back from the East Coast, we did it for years. You have to get your schedule and your body back into the rhythm of being at altitude.
I think the Rockies, and I know the players appreciate this, are more judicious than they've ever been about when to take BP. It used to be a formality that you're always, especially in the evening game, that the only day of the week you would take BP was Sunday, and that's still
holds
almost
true.
a uniform policy throughout baseball. But Walt and his crew has said, you know what, you'll get your work in, and we don't have to do it on the field. You're off your feet a little bit more. You guys appreciate that, don't you?
We love it. It just makes sense because you're trying to, you can almost overwork in batting practice. And you're trying to play in the game. And at altitude, we talk about this all the time. Your body breaks down more at altitude than anywhere else, especially coming back from an East Coast trip where now your body is not used to the time frame.
Good pitch. De La Rosa strikes out Espinosa. That's his second punch out.
De La Rosa is starting to get a good feel with his off-speed pitches and his fastball. Good downward movement on that pitch. Espinosa, that was up in the count, 2-0, strikes out.
Just reaching for the ball.
Just reaching for it.
Yeah. Ben Revere with 2 outs. Charlie Blackmon's a great example. He said one of the reasons he feels like he's continuing to have great success, and I mean, he was terrific the last 2 years. He understands his body. He understands how to work out, when to work out, when his body needs rest, and to forego perhaps an extra workout in the weight room. How to eat, how to rest. I mean, he's told me many times it's important for him to get 9 to 11 hours of sleep a night, and sometimes the schedule does not afford you that opportunity.
Just think back to 2 days ago, yesterday. Rockies players are waking up at 9 a.m. East Coast time, which is for them here 2-hour time difference. It's not the normal time the guys will wake up.
That's a great inning. 1, 2, 3 for Jorge De La Rosa. The Rockies lead 3-2, middle of 4.
Are you going to need a pen? And you're going to need a scorebook since you took my job.
Anson, it's great to meet you, buddy. Have fun.
All right, thank you.
Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Rockies in Lodo leading 3-2 over the Washington Nationals. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, Brad Thompson, Ben Paulson, Jorge De La Rosa, Charlie Blackmon in the fourth against Maxim Scherzer, who came into the ballgame 12-7 with a 2.80 ERA. And his whip coming in of 0.91. In other words, less than one batter per inning pitch reaches either with a hit or a walk or a hit batter. It's the best of his career.
Yeah, the numbers were ridiculous before the game even started. 163 and 2/3, 110 hits. When you have nearly 50 innings pitched, more than you've given up hits, you're doing some work.
You're doing high quality work.
And then when you have over 200 strikeouts, you're doing a lot of work.
1 and 2 on Paulson. Ben 1 for 7 against Scherzer. 0 for 8 since returning to the big leagues. How about this? He has struck out only 2 in the ball game tonight, Max Scherzer, and he's given up 5 hits. That is really, really unusual that he's given up more hits than he has strikeouts. Check this out. Since 1920, consecutive starts where you have more strikeouts than hits allowed. Scherzer's got 17 straight such games. The all-time record since 20. Randy Johnson 25. Pedro Martinez 20. Sutton Sam McDowell 19. Pedro again on that list at 18. Ryan, as in Nolan Ryan, had 17. This is on the ground at first, and Murphy shows a smooth play there to flip it to Scherzer, 1 out.
This Sunday, August 21st, is Air Force Academy Day. Falcon fans can purchase a special ticket package to receive a limited edition Air Force Academy themed Rockies hat.
Hey, you know who's joining us? The great head coach at the Air Force Academy.
Yes.
One of the best in the land. Troy Calhoun is a huge baseball fan, also big Rockies fan. He won't bat lead off, but ask about Air Force football tomorrow. He's taking over our Twitter account. That'll be fun with Coach Calhoun.
No, we haven't hitting cleanup.
That'll be a blast. Jorge De La Rosa, sharp single down the left field line his first time up. He's behind 0-2. One and two. Those look really good. Why didn't we go there earlier? What were we thinking about? Famous Dave's?
I'm more of a chicken pot pie kind of guy.
Well, I'm more, nothing wrong with chicken pot pie, but I'm more of a Famous Dave ribs guy.
I usually get their food about once a week when I'm walking the concourse.
How about Dela now works a count full 3 and 2. Dougie, are you a Famous Dave's guy? Dougie's Famous Dave's guy. That's how I barbecue. It's like a flame coming out frequently. This ball smoked to left toward Famous Dave's, but it goes foul. This isn't right.
All right, truck, cut it out.
Yeah, that or have somebody run over to Famous Dave's for us. Dela making Scherzer work.
He's chopping up Scherzer. All right,
that's not. You know what? That's not this guy's first rodeo. Scherzer wins the battle. That's his third strikeout. 2 gone. That'll bring up Blackman. Charlie's had 2 high-quality at-bats. He smoked a line drive to first and then hit a line shot to Harper, who made a sliding catch.
One of my favorite things that Charlie does as a leadoff hitter, you notice he put some pine tar on his bat. He's slowing it down. He's going to take his time. He's probably going to dig in, take a step out. He's making sure his starting pitcher gets enough time to get a sip of water, sit down.
And he won't swing at this pitch. 0-1. Walt was asked today, and I know some people at home probably think this, man, the way Charlie swings the bat, he's got 20 home runs, he's got 59 RBIs. Why not, put him in the middle of the order with Nolan and Carr going? And Walt's response was great. He goes, I love having a guy with power and speed at the top of the lineup, because when that lineup flips over, immediately the pitcher is on a hot seat. And the way he works counts, he is an ideal leadoff guy. 1-2. You think of the greatest leadoff hitter you or I have ever seen, Ricky Henderson. Ricky was, the greatest base stealer ever, but Ricky hit a ton of home runs.
And Ricky don't play no extra innings.
No. This ball crushed high and deep right field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. He has struck again.
That's Batman. He broke his last bat. In his last at bat, gets a fresh new stick. He does not care who's on the mound as well.
Remarkable. What a run Charlie Blackmon's on. Don't touch him, you may burn your hand.
His first 2 at-bats were hit hard. Line drives to the first baseman in the outfield. And this one, Scherzer just made a pitch that wasn't even a bad located pitch. Charlie's just on another level right now.
He is what you call stupid hot.
It's a changeup down out of the strike zone.
8 home runs his last 7 games. Not to mention he has another 10-game hitting streak. Bends LeMahieu over. 4th time this year he's produced a double-digit hitting streak.
That is why you bat this guy leadoff.
4-2 Rockies.
2 outs. Charlie Blackmon, nobody on. See, that's a good changeup down. Charlie. Talking about pulling the baseball, and he pulls it, but oftentimes when you're a straight pull hitter, you'll pull the off-speed pitches foul. You must be in a great place when you're doing that.
And LeMahieu with his 3rd hit of the night. Said it last time he's up. He's been overshadowed by what Blackmon's done, but he's matching him hit for hit. Just not hitting the ball over the wall the way Blackmon is. And here comes Cargo. And Mike Maddox is going to go to the mound again. Place a hand on Max Scherzer's shoulder. How did we know that? Because Mike has done that on every appearance at the mound since he became a pitching coach.
In baseball right now, I'm trying to think who the top leadoff hitters in the game, and well, baseball's changed a bit. They've seen guys like Adam Jones, 3-hole hitter, hitting leadoff. George Springer for Houston, he's having a fantastic year. He has 23 homers. Mookie Betts.
Well, Mookie Betts hit 3 yesterday for the 2nd time this year, but he was not hitting in the leadoff spot yesterday. He was hitting third. Mookie Betts, an incredible top of the order guy. For Cargo, when he rose to stardom, he was hitting the leadoff role in 2009. Mookie Betts, Ian Kinsler, Charlie Blackmon.
Well, the advanced metrics show why it's so important to have one of your best hitters hit first. Over the course of a season, they end up having more bats than your 3-hole hitter, your 4-hole hitter.
That was kicked around. I remember having a conversation with Dan O'Dowd a couple of years ago that the Rockies kicked that around with Cargo. You know, lead him off again for that very reason. It's also why we've seen Walt's done this in the past. Other teams have done this. I know Mike Scioscia's done this with Mike Trout. Put that guy in the 2 spot because, okay, it may not be the leadoff spot, but he's going to get, over the course of the season, that many more at bats. And if you have a good leadoff hitter, he's going to come up with a guy on. 2-1. That's fouled off. 2-2.
Not every player is going to feel comfortable in certain spots in the lineup, and I know Tulo last year was hitting second for the Rockies for the first half. Just once he got traded to Toronto, was leading off and never really felt comfortable in that spot. Some guys, they just like to hit farther down in the lineup, 3rd, 4th, 5th. They just feel like that's more the meaty part of the lineup, where the argument is, hey, 1st and 2nd, you're going to hit more than anybody on your team.
And this is in foul ground, and nobody to get there. Anthony Rendon with the shift is swung over up the middle. Cargo catches a break there. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Rockies. 2 runs, 3 hits for Washington. Rockies hitting in the bottom of the 4th. They've had traffic in every inning against Max Scherzer.
That play right there is like getting an extra out, an extra pitch. That's a routine pop-up to the 3rd baseman. Cargo gets another pitch, see if he can make it pay.
Slings the fastball inside, 3-2. So LeMahieu will be off. Daniel Murphy reminding Scherzer he's going to move behind him. Nolan waiting on an opportunity here in the fourth. This is in the air, playable for Worth at left field. He makes the catch to put the inning down. 2 hits in the inning. 1 went over the wall. Charlie Blackmon has done it again. Number 21 on the year. And the Rockies lead it 4-2. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, bad news for the Miami Marlins. Bad news for baseball. Giancarlo Stanton strained his groin yesterday severely enough that he is going to be out at least 6 weeks. Which could put him out for the rest of the season. Numbers down this year. It's been the one issue with Giancarlo staying on the field. Last year he played in only 73 ball games. Well, Scherzer was due up, and he's gone after 4 innings because Washington has gone to their bench 96 pitches in 4 innings. And Scherzer is gone. And this will be Wilmer Difo pinch hitting. Who would have ever thought that? Not that man, I can tell you.
Nope, he's
straight up
pleading his case with Mike Maddox.
It's too late now. Well, he had an ERA well over 5 coming in. As you see, an old friend, Matt Belisle, getting loose for Washington. He had an ERA here over 5. And it's going to go up. 4 runs earned in 4 innings. I mean, you look at this last outing, 7 innings. Prior to that, 8 innings, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 6, 7 1/3. Last outing, less than 4 innings, was last August in San Francisco. Difo works out a walk. It's the 3rd walk issued by De La Rosa.
That'll snap Scherzer's straight string of, what was it, 17 games in a row?
Yeah, that's done with because Scherzer struck out just 2 hitters tonight. Excuse me, 3 hitters tonight.
7 hits, allowed 7 hits.
Yeah. This is Trey Turner. Strikeout and a drive to deep center that was run down beautifully by Blackman. So the defensive play of the game is owned by Charlie also.
Trey Turner was part of a bit of a controversy last year after being drafted by the Padres because he was part of a trade that sent him to the Nationals. The problem was with the collective bargaining agreement, Trey had to remain with the San Diego Padres.
He hadn't had a full year yet.
Right, and so they weren't allowed to trade him, but he was the player to be named later.
He just bought his second strikeout of the night, and that'll bring up Jason Worth. Worth hit a 2-run home run in the third against De La Rosa. 1 out, 1 on. Over Defoe at first. That misses. Tanya says, can you arrange a picture of Charlie and Jason Worth standing next to each other?
There you go.
So much beard. There you go.
A beard off. Charlie's got that.
Worth's got him on the hair, right? Give Charlie the beard, Worth the mullet.
Yeah. Worth does have a nice flow.
The locks. I remember when Worth came up in 2004. Hit 16 home runs with the Dodgers. There's a line shot to right. And a hesitation, and then Defoe went. So first and third after that base hit by Jason Worth.
Worth has been impossible to get out tonight.
Reached 43 straight, matching Ryan Zimmerman for the club record with the Nationals. Walk, home run, and now this sharp single.
Defoe stops at second base, but when he looks back and sees how far out Carlos Gonzalez is, he decides to go ahead and run to third. The problem is, when you're in that situation, you have to make sure you pick up the third base coach. That's not a read for the base runner. That's a read for the third base coach.
That ball's behind you, right?
Yep. And Bob Henley, who's the third base coach for the Washington Nationals, had a quick conversation letting him know, hey, you look at me, don't look at the baseball.
Now, this is not the guy you want to see right now. Up by 2 runs, first and third, just 1 out. Daniel Murphy, leading hitter in the National League. It's inside, 1-1. He also leads in total bases, slugging percentage at .616. Murphy leads in multi-hit games. He leads in doubles with 34. Hits with 143. You get the picture. But if you can get a ground ball here, Murphy is not a flyer. Instead, you get a base hit the other way, and it's a 4-3 game. When you're balanced, as you were showing in his last at bat, he just toes up. You're going to handle so many different pitches in the strike zone. And in fact, when you look at his heat chart, there's not a portion of the strike zone that he's not hitting well above the league average.
And there's a split finger from De La Rosa down and away. One of the toughest pitches for a lefty to handle. And because that front foot isn't spinning out, as Bryce Harper has been doing, that front hip spinning out, he's able to keep his hip in long enough that he can drive the back knee towards the pitcher, keep the barrel in the zone a lot longer.
Harper takes ball 1. Those walks, it's really, I tell you what, it's been surprising how De La has worked around the walks in so many outings. Of course, he walked the pinch hitter Defoe to lead off the inning, and now Defoe has scored a run. It's 4-3. First and second with just 1 out. De La Rosa in his last 11 games has fashioned a 3.5 ERA. It's outstanding, especially pitching half your games, as you know, at Coors Field. 3.5, terrific. Except he's struck out 33 and walked 30 over that same period. That doesn't add up normally. 2-0.
Is the highest walks per 9 for De La Rosa, well over 4 in the last 5 years.
I think it's a product of him having to maybe nibble a little bit more. He doesn't have the plus fastball that he once had. 3-0.
I think that's part of it. I also think it's De La Rosa fell in love with the split finger. He loves that pitch. And that pitch is also, it's a swing and miss pitch. It's not something he can consistently throw for strikes. But because he gets so many swings and misses and he gets a lot of ground balls, he chooses to throw it a lot.
Well, he just walked Harper on 4 pitches to load the bases for Anthony Rendon. And Steve Foster is going to have to go out. This is the 4th walk allowed by De La Rosa.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices.
Rendon, a fly ball to right field and a ground ball to short. This guy's a gifted guy, Rendon. 2 years ago, he finished 5th in the National League in the MVP voting. It was his first full year in the big leagues.
Defensively, he solidified this Nationals infield. As good as Ryan Zimmerman was for all the years, his shoulder injury to Ryan Zimmerman didn't allow him to play a good third base. Last year they missed him.
2 strikes on Rendon.
This year with that healthy Rendon, the Washington Nationals have a .989 fielding percentage. That's best in the National League.
Yeah, Zimmerman had to drop way down, and it didn't look pretty. And it didn't look like he was confident throwing it across the diamond. 0-2. 2 years ago when Rendon finished 5th in the MVP voting, he had 21 home runs, drove in 83, had 39 doubles, he had 6 triples, was 17 of 20 stealing bases. Won a Silver Slugger award that year. This one is caught in the air, and they'll double up at first base. Bryce Harper. So the Rockies catch a break. De La Rosa gives up just 1. It could have been far worse. And the Rockies maintain their advantage. They're up 4-3 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning.
Couldn't have asked for a better ball. A hit to Nolan at third base. Low line drive. Bryce Harper thinks he's going to catch it. Double play.
This week's CenturyLink High-Speed Challenge poll question once again. The question was, Nolan Arenado has now hit 30 home runs in 2 consecutive years. Who was the last Rocky to produce that feat? And you guys voted this way. It was a tie between Holiday and Cargo at 38%. Todd got 24%. And the answer is, who is Matt Holliday? Back in 06 and 07, the last Rocky before Nolan to have back-to-back 30 home run seasons. We thank you all for voting in our CenturyLink High-Speed Challenge. Here's Nolan against Matt Belisle, his former teammate, one of our all-time favorite Rockies. What a class act. Matt Belisle still going strong. Pitched a scoreless inning yesterday in Washington's 9-1 victory over Atlanta. Small ERA. He's battled some injuries. Still has some pretty good velo.
Good velo, good depth on his fastball. What he does so well is he does not walk batters. So important for a relief pitcher, especially at Coors Field. You come into the game, comes right after you, quickly 0-2 to Nolan. He used to call his sinker the old bowling ball. It's just so heavy. You can see hitters hit it. Looks like he was knocking the barrel out of major league hitters' hands.
That comes right after Nolan again. It's 1-2. Matt's now 37. High pick with the Atlanta Braves, then on to Cincinnati. Inside. And from 2009 through 2014 with the Rockies in 6 years, pitched in 392 games. That's third on the all-time appearance list for Colorado. It's a class act. Big Texan. I had Matt at 37. You know what? I apologize, Matt. Just turned 36. You know, when you're 8, 9, you want to be older. When you get in your 30s,
be younger.
You want to be younger. Or when you get to be Jeff Houston's age, my goodness, you really want to be younger. Happy birthday, Huey. Jeff moved ahead of me again. There's Jeff. They're on the. He's probably on his 3rd ice cream cake portion.
Oh yeah, at least.
Was Sully just blowing him off? Not interested in the conversation.
He never has been. The Wyoming. Hey, Wyoming's sweet, huh? Yeah, it's the best. Corey, you want to talk about Wyoming?
Nope. Corey spent a lot of time in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Two on Nolan. And this is popped up to shallow right. And did Harper make the catch? He did. That was poor communication between Trey Turner and Bryce Harper. You want to give way to the outfielder typically, but I didn't think Harper was going to get there. I don't think Harper thought he was going to get there.
So far tonight, Bryce Harper has not read the baseball off the bat very well. And Trey Turner, probably one of the fastest guys in baseball. It's not a hard play for a second baseman to run back there. Normally, it's not a hard play for a right fielder, but if you're running the wrong way, give Bryce Harper some credit for making up for it.
There's a strike on Dahl. David's hit the ball hard twice. 2-run double off the base of the center field wall in the 1st inning. Then he hit a line shot to center that was handled by Revere is next time up. Max Scherzer run after 4 innings and 96 pitches. Shortest outing of the year. 4 runs, 7 hits, a couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. Man, you run off a guy like Scherzer, you've got to find a way to be shaking hands at the end of the night.
You have to. It's one of baseball's best. Run him out after 4 innings.
One and 2 on Dahl. This is fisted to short. Well, it's cut off there at third by Rendon. If it's not cut off, it's going to be an infield hit. There's no way they're going to get Dahl. So Rendon was able to get there. 2 outs. This is one of Huey's many baseball cards.
Gotta watch the ball in the glove, Huey.
We got a problem with this thing because Huey was a great fielder, and then he was an instructor with the Cubs. He didn't teach.
Look down.
He didn't teach this technique, did he?
No. That's better than that.
I don't think I'd seen that card before. My favorite is the one of Huey leaping to complete a double
play.
play.
A birthday hat on there for him.
Yeah, that's nice.
There you go. It's the worst birthday hat ever.
Try again. You can play it to illustrator. Let's try again.
All right, here you go. Happy birthday to Huey.
Make him a bowl. Yeah, now make him a bowl. Now he's watching. Make him a bowl of ice cream.
Oh, an ice cream. People are like, cut it out, something. And some ice cream for you, Huey.
That's inside on this Cal, so 2-1. Daniels had a nice ball game, sac fly, and a triple off the scoreboard his last time up. 2-2.
Well, another ball that Bryce Harper misread early. Ball's hit off the wall and off his glove, and Descalso never stopping.
Not too many lefties, especially lefties that like to pull the baseball, but don't like the ball down and in. He got it down and in. He dropped the barrel on it. 3-2 from Belisle, and this one's on one hop to the shortstop Espinoza, who's positioned perfectly, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Belisle in the 5th. We turn the page to inning number 6. The Rockies 4 and the Nationals 3. Bank game recap. Rockies got off to a fast start against Max Scherzer. They got 3 in the first. The highlight being a 2-run double by David Dahl. 2-run home run by Jason Worth made it 3-2. Rockies have a 4-3 lead as we go to the 6th inning. Scherzer gone after 4 innings. Charlie Blackmon, yes, not a misprint. He's hit another home run, his 21st, his 6th in the last 3.5 ball games. Wilson Ramos to lead things off at the 6th hole for Dusty Baker. De La Rosa trying to get through 6 innings. He misses there. De La's had 2 1-2-3 innings, and it was in this portion of the lineup. In the 2nd and the 4th inning, he had Ramos leading off. And you got Ramos, you got Espinosa, you got Revere in order. Hopefully that's the same story here in the 6th.
Important inning for De La Rosa, 84 pitches now. Talking about making sure you get that clean inning. You have pretty much the bottom of the lineup, even though I don't count Ramos as bottom of the lineup. This is a middle lineup type hitter.
Yeah, he hits 4-hole quite a bit. Especially when Harper's been down. He's hitting that 4 spot. 1-1 on Ramos. And this ball's well hit to right. Cargo with the deke, and it's gone. And now it's tied. Wilson Ramos going opposite field. His 19th home run of the year. You get a feel for how strong he is. He just reached out over the plate and clubbed that thing.
Heavy hands. He just drops him. This ball goes out like a left-handed pull hitter just hit it. Curveball, and that takes some strength. Even though that's pretty much middle. This ball comes out like a cannon. Wow.
Wilson Ramos just having an unbelievable year. Ties this game in the 6th. You know, no national or expo catcher has ever hit 300 with at least 300 at bats. The best was the late Hall of Famer Gary Carter, who hit 294 in 1984. 2 years prior to being traded to New York. Espinosa hits it high and deep left center field. Dahl hoping for a play, and he'll have one at the 390 mark.
This location up. De La Rosa, last 2 pitches that were hit, been given a ride. Important for an outfielder to make sure he gets himself as far back as he can so he can gauge where the baseball is, especially when you're at the wall. Give yourself enough room that if you have to jump and try to rob a homer, you have it. It's the beauty of having really a natural center fielder in left field. He's patrolling left field like it's nothing.
That Revere takes a strike. Two strikes. For the moment, Dusty has Matt Belisle in the on-deck circle. That bat's got to be borrowed. Hey, somebody help me get the weight off the bat.
It's going to be stuck. Nope, it's not going to work, Belisle. You got to find some concrete. Nope. Go find concrete.
Houston, we have a problem.
Doesn't matter, Belisle.
Just grab another bat, Matty.
Yeah, let one of the hitters do it.
You wanted to say so badly, let one of the players do it. I know
It's like you're swinging with the weight on the bat anyways. It doesn't matter.
Revere's gone. Complete the play at first. And Bilal will get the hit.
The Rockies and the Baseball Tomorrow Fund are hosting a baseball equipment drive this Saturday, August 20th. New and gently used equipment will be collected at all gates prior to the game. I think I have some baseball stuff I can donate.
I would think you would.
Here comes Bilal.
Matt used to get to do this when he was a starting pitcher, but you know, it's been a while, so he has not had a knock since you were in 8th grade. No, he had a hit in 2011. He did have 50 ABs in 2007. 7 for 88 in his career. Listen, the gate wasn't that rusty. It wasn't bad.
It's Bilal. Come on. We're all friends with him. Yes, it is.
When Matt Bilal and Rafael Betancourt were running the bullpen, they were throwing partners. He had 2 pros down there. LaTroy Hawkins.
They're the best. I used to talk every day right after the national anthem. Bilal would come out with his jacket on, with his pockets filled with healthy food. He'd eat bananas and peanut butter before every game, and as he would come out of the dugout, his pockets were always stuffed with carrots. He'd always steal a carrot every time Bilal came out on the field.
Sully's were always stuffed with Twinkies.
That's right.
Home run from Ramos is tied it at 4.
In the bottom of the 6th inning, want to get a little minor league update, specifically with the Albuquerque Isotopes. They're riding an 8-game winning streak right now, and Jeff Hoffman is a big reason why. Last night threw 5 shutout innings, and at one point he struck out 5 batters in a row. It was his 2nd consecutive start in which he didn't issue a run. So Isotopes are hot, and Hoffman a big reason why. Now, guys, the issue with him, and you think maybe we'll see him soon, he's not on the 40-man roster. So some moves we'll have to make before we get to see him up here at Coors Field, but he's doing great down for the Isotopes.
It's been a year of growth for Jeff Hoffman at Albuquerque. A lot of good guys here in Denver, and a lot of good guys coming. Nick Hundley in the 6th inning against Matt Belisle.
Oh, look out. I think it was the other day with the Cleveland Indians. Francisco Lindor hit a ball into the Indians dugout that hit Carlos Santana.
Cargo's going to watch this game beneath the fence line. And that's a line shot caught by Rendon. 1 out.
To see the Nationals' great defense on display with Rendon, one of the better defensive third basemen in baseball. See how quick he is at first step, anticipation, reaching up nearly behind his head to catch that baseball.
Ben Paulson steps up. And Ben is going to reach. That went off of Belisle, and then it was not handled by Espinosa. Matt looks like he's okay. And a base hit for Paulson.
Paulson driving the baseball right back up the middle off of Belisle's glove. Espinosa wasn't able to grab it. Belisle looking everywhere to find it.
1 out, 1 on. Christian Adames will pinch hit for De La Rosa.
Jordan Wiles coming in, replacing Jorge De La Rosa, and that was Ben Paulson's first hit since being recalled from Albuquerque.
Now Dusty's going to come out and make a pitching change. Matt walks off. We'll tell you about the change when we come back. 4-4 ball game. The Rockies are going to send up Christian Adames. He'll flip to the right side now that Washington has brought in Sammy Solis. The day after every Rockies win, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Use the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. One of 2 left-handers down in the bullpen for Washington. We also have the cagey veteran Oliver Perez. They use him typically a little later in ball games.
Solis,
Lefty's hitting just 198 against Solis.
Big arm, former second rounder for the Washington Nationals out of the University of San Diego. 6'5" lefty. Fastball, slider, changeup.
Fouled off by Adames. This goes back a few years. Down in Tempe, ASU is hosting a regional. USD was playing, and you know, because you used to play USD when you were at Santa Barbara. And that's a great program. They got off the bus. And let me tell you what, that was an impressive team getting off the bus. It seemed like 75% of their roster was 6'4" or bigger. They've turned out some outstanding players. One and one on Adames after the base hit by Ben Paulson. Adames 5th in the league in pinch hits with 11. So this game will be on the bullpens. De La Rosa gave up 4 in 6 innings. Scherzer gave up 4 in 4 innings.
The advantage has to be for the Washington Nationals if you're looking at bullpens. Leads the majors in ERA for the bullpen. Solis, 37 innings pitched, 44 strikeouts. Tougher lefties out of their bullpen.
Rockies still have a chance to get De La Rosa back on the plus side if they can score here. #1 bullpen in all of baseball, not just the National League. John Gray and Jorge De La Rosa. Called strike, 3-2. 27,818 umpires had that as ball 4. Looked pretty good from where we were.
Well, the one that matters, calls it on the Subaru strike zone. It's right at the bottom of the zone. You can see the knee hollow. That's the term in the umpire rule book. It's the bottom of the zone. I still don't know what the knee hollow actually is.
And this is on 2 hops to second. And a double play. Big arm from Espinosa turned it over. 4-6-3. So we'll go to the 7th, 4-4. 1 inning of play. Ran Max Scherzer off after 4 innings, but it's all even. Here's the Kubota pitching performance. Max Scherzer, his shortest outing of the year. 4 runs, 7 hits, 96 pitches. Rockies had a great approach. Just 3 strikeouts for the strikeout leader in baseball. De La Rosa, kind of a typical De La Rosa outing. He walked several and dealt with some traffic, worked around it, did give up 4 runs in 6 innings. So it'll be on the bullpens, and Jordan Lyles will have the baseball out of the pen initially for the Rockies to work the 7th inning. And it's the top of the order for Washington. As you glance at Jordan's numbers, Trey Turner is 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts and a fly ball to deep left field, and this ball's lined to center, and that's a base hit for Turner, former NC State All-American, native of Florida, who can flat out fly, as Keith Jackson used to say.
Has 10 stolen bases on the year, caught once. It'll be important for Jordan Lyles and Nick Hundley to make sure that they do a good job of varying times. The advantage goes to Jason Worth, because now you're looking fastball out over the plate. We've already seen Jason handle the baseball out away from him with the Hunt fastball.
Well, Nick's a veteran guy. Sometimes you see young catchers, to your point, they keep putting down that first finger because they want to have a shot at throwing out the base runner. The hitter ends up getting a heavy dose of fastballs, which he likes.
Work this year has been very successful against left-handed pitching. It's right-handed pitching, 217 batting average, 140 points lower than how he does against lefty.
Sinker is high, 1-0. Wertz had a big night, a walk, 2-run home run to make it 3-2 in the 3rd. And a sharp single to right center in the 5th inning. Murphy on deck, then Harper. The difficult portion of this Washington lineup. Boone Logan is up. Rockies bullpen.
I could hear Bob Henley from up in the booth yelling at Jason Worth to step out as he went through an array of signs to give to Trey Turner.
Well, one of the reasons why Bob Henley is one of the holdovers from the Matt Williams regime. And Dusty Baker, see, he's looking at Dusty right now. Dusty has a very complicated system of signs, and it takes a little bit longer. Bob, it took him, there was a piece written on this not all that long ago. Bob said it took him about 6-8 weeks to really get it down. His communication from Dusty and then on forward to the hitter and the base runners. And that's why, to your point, he needed a little more time. He asked Jason Worth to step out. You got to pay attention. You know, some signs did you find at the big league level were relatively simplistic, and other places you went and it's a little more complex?
They were far more complex in high school and college than they were in the big leagues.
Runner going, and that throw's not going to get Turner.
You knew at some point that Trey Turner was going to take off and steal second, at least try. Did not even get a great jump. You can see him after a couple strides gain his full speed and just blow past DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, he kind of stumbled a little bit.
Yeah, well, he had a false step out of the box.
Go ahead run now at second with nobody out. Worth drives this ball to right center field. Blackman gets there, and tagging and moving up. Here's Trey Turner. Nice running catch out there by Charlie Blackmon off the bat. That looked like a tweener.
Off the bat, I didn't think Charlie Blackmon had a chance at it. He just continued to run it down. And it's a good baseball play on both sides. Trey Turner's smart baseball play. Nobody out, you have to tag up. Even if it drops, you'll be able to score with Trey Turner's speed. And Charlie Blackmon ranging. A lot of times that becomes a really difficult play for the center fielder because there's a chance that you could collide with the right fielder in Carlos Gonzalez.
Walt's going to bring in his lefty specialist, Boone Logan, who's had an extraordinary year with Murphy and Harper due. This week on the club, we head to the Western Slope to check in with the Grand Junction Rockies. We'll also talk to Rockies first-round draft picks Riley Pint and Mike Nicorak while we're there. And we'll hear from current big leaguers on how their time in Grand Junction perhaps shaped their young careers. All that and always much, much more on the club. That's tonight after the post-game show. Rockies in a 4-4 game with the second best team in baseball right now, the Washington Nationals. Boone Logan to face the leading hitter in the National League, Daniel Murphy. And the Rockies in the 7th will pull the infield in. Trey Turner is at third base. He singled, stole second, moved up on the long fly ball. Inside on Murphy. Murphy hitting .315 against lefties, .362 against righties. Add it up and you have a .348 average.
Pretty tough task for Boone Logan, who's been so good this season, stranding those inherited runners. 6 of 36 this year have scored against him. And with the fast runner with Trey Turner probably going on contact regardless with one out.
Is it slider or fastball?
It's a slider count for me to this guy.
Crossed him up, went fastball, but he missed with it. Harper looms next. A 4-pitch walk. Murphy goes down to first. Rockies have walked 5 in the game, 4 by De La Rosa.
I can live with that walk. That walk sets up a double play. Pretty much looking for a pop-up or a strikeout in that situation with Daniel Murphy, just because of the speed of Trey Turner. You look at Bryce Harper, reigning MVP, one of the best young players in baseball. But mechanically, he's pulling out his front hip. He's probably not in the best spot right now. Take my shot against Bryce Harper.
He walked twice and singled against De La Rosa, and that misses. Ball 1. Ball and a strike.
The Nationals are one of the hardest teams in baseball to get to ground into a double play. Only 69 on the season. By contrast, the Rockies have grounded into 88 double plays.
And the other thing Washington does do a lot of, by comparison with other teams, strikeouts. Second fewest strikeouts in the National League. Harper's been scuffling. 139 his last 23 games, but he smokes that to right. That'll score Turner. Going to third base is Murphy. Into second with a double is Bryce Harper. 5-4 Washington. Well, when he's flying open, you described it earlier, the pitch he's going to be able to handle is on that inner third.
And off speed. Pretty much the only pitch Bryce Harper can handle at this point, just based on the way his bat pad's going and the way his body's pouring him out. Both doubles legitimately hit him right in the barrel. You get to see Bryce Harper's hair flip.
Bring up Anthony Rendon. Now the Rockies are really in a precarious spot. 2 in scoring position, down a run in the 7th with just 1 out. Matt Carasetti is up. Rendon, fly ball, ground ball, line out. Basically one of every kind of ball you could put in play. 0 for 3. Catch by Huntley. Rendon is a Texas kid who went to Rice. He's a really good student at Rice. You got to be a good student to get into Rice. And Anthony takes a strike, 2-1.
Rendon pretty even with his splits against lefty righty as far as batting average, but all of his damage, 14 home runs, have come against right-handers.
2-2.
On that swing, Rendon looked like he was just trying to hit the ball opposite field.
Nationals aren't 22 games over by accident. Out on the road, they're 33-24. They outscored the opponent on the road by a run and a half. Two.
You have to hunt the strikeout right here. I always like high fastballs in these situations. See if you can get someone to chase.
That was a fastball, but it was in the dirt. 3-2.
Hitters are looking for the pitch up in the zone so you can hit a fly ball as a sac fly. And if you go a little bit above the zone that we're looking for, you can get a hitter to chase a ball.
And a strikeout of Rendon. Exactly what Boone Logan needed. Now the infield can drop back. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Ramos.
Rendon was hunting fastball. He's looking fastball the whole way. Caught off guard with the 3-2 slider. Good pitch, well located. The Rockies are going to go ahead and put Wilson Ramos on first base, not even take a shot.
Well, on deck is another right-handed hitter in Espinosa, but Espinosa is hitting .220. Now the question is, will Walt then go bring in the righty, Caracetti?
Espinosa is a switch hitter, so you're going to try to pick his weaker side. His weaker side happens to be the right-handed side. 217 hitting right-handed, 221 hitting lefty.
Not by much. So that's the $64,000 question right now for Wall.
It comes down to, would you rather have Boone Logan, who has experience, or Matt Caracetti, who's pitched in 1 major league game?
Oh, 0-1. Boone's had a great year. Boone's had the best year of his career, and he's had good years in the past. But when you look at the numbers, this has been his finest season. Good pitch. Boone told me the other day he was really happy that there was a lot of speculation he may get moved with the numbers he's put up and so on. He said he was thrilled he did. Believes in what the Rockies have right now, and I know he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, but he'd love to stay on. He has a strong belief in where the organization's going, wants to be a part of it. Healthy again this year after battling elbow issues the last few years. Outside, 1-2. Washington has taken the lead with a double off the bat of Bryce Harper to score Trey Turner, who led the inning off with a single. Good block. Conley's been busy this inning. Asked Nick this afternoon, I said, how many gloves do you go through in a year? He said 2 to 3.
Boone's going to make sure he tries to put Espinosa away. 2-2. Trying to avoid the 3-2, have bodies in motion. Espinosa has struck out 115 times this season.
Two-two. You step on the plate, and the inning's over. Boone does a good job. He gets Espinosa. There was a run in the inning, and it's 5-4 Washington as we go to the bottom of the 7th. High fastball.
1 to the Nationals. Charlie Blackmon, since coming off the disabled list, has really started to find his groove. Part of the reason why he's healthy. He had that toe issue earlier in the season. But notice how the batting average has jumped up. Notice how the slugging has jumped up. Pay attention to slugging. That's part of the reason why he has 8 home runs in the last week. And all of it attributes to the fact that he's healthy. He's getting more and more comfortable seeing all the different pitchers in the major leagues, and he knows his strengths. We always talk about how good of a player this guy is. He's all-star caliber every single year.
And Sammy Solis induces a pop-up to shallow center. And Revere comes on and makes the catch.
National outfielders are having a bit of trouble at Coors Field so far.
Smile about it now. Tuck that out away. LeMahieu's 3 for 3. DJ's on base percentage at Coors Field close to 500. Hits are even at 8. Runs are not. 5-4 Washington. Strike out or strike 1 on the inside corner.
Not a better hitter in baseball. Make that 4 hits for DJ.
He's something else, isn't he?
You blink and he has a hit.
4 for 4 for DJ LeMahieu.
Slider up in the zone. DJ says thank you. Pull that one. The Nationals have no idea how to get DJ LeMahieu out. Jam him inside with fastball. He'll shoot it to right field. Off-speed pitches away from him. Shoot it in the center. Off-speed inside to him. Just pull it down the 5-hole.
Top 3 guys in their order. They've had great years, and they've had even bigger months of August. Cargo tonight 0 for 2 and a walk. Scored a run in the first. Now look at the years for Blackmon, LeMahieu, and Cargo. They entered August 304, 320, and 317 respectively. And Charlie's hit 435, DJ 462, Cargo 379. Problem is the Rockies have lost plenty more than they've won in August, despite how well those guys have swung the bat. LeMahieu, David John with his 3rd 4-hit game of the year.
Anytime you talk to a hitting coach or a left-hander that's facing another left-handed pitcher, trying to teach the hitter to stay back, let the ball travel, not use a ton of effort to put the ball in play. Try to simplify your approach. You know a left-hander is going to throw the slider. So allowing that baseball to travel, let it get deep, trust your hands, makes all the difference in the world.
2-2, 3-2. Plus you have the luxury. Yes, again, easier said than done. But you have the luxury of your Cargo. If you are a little bit tardy, the whole left side of the infield's open for you because there's 3 guys on the right side. The only guy left is Rendon on the left side, and he's swung way over. Cargo's had a number of hits in that direction this year. 3-2, and that's going to be a base hit to center. DJ stops at second. You know what? That was literally half a step to the left of Rendon, and he still couldn't glove it. It was hit so hard.
Cargo, such great plate coverage. Slider down and away from him. Look how far he's out there looking at for that baseball, and to hit it with such authority past Rendon. He does a great effort. Pay attention to Espinosa. That's the shortstop starting on the second base side. And once he saw Rendon not being able to get to his feet, heads up baseball, goes and covers third base. He's not playing heads up. DJ's standing on third. You have a first and third situation.
Dusty's going to make another move. 2 on for the Rockies. Down a run with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th.
Live Rockies baseball is here with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected, and we'll also look at the Nolan giveaway. A Gold Glove minor head bobblehead come to you August 21st versus the Cubs. The first 15,000 fans will get one. Drew told me in between innings that this guy is dirty. Highest fastball velocity out of the bullpen at 95 miles an hour. Good slider.
We saw him last year, and he was kind of up and down. And he was really good when the Rockies saw him last year. I mean, it was at times unhittable stuff. Here's Nolan. Chance for the Rockies to tie things up. What happened? 5-3 double play on 1 pitch. So the Rockies promising 7 goes to bed. 5-4 as we go to the 8th. Lines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get you 2-for-1 club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Rockies trailing 5-4. Ball game they led 3-0 after one against Max Scherzer. They knocked him out after 4 innings. But they have done nothing so far against the Washington bullpen. Scott Oberg's going to take over here in the 8th. An up and down year for Scott, and he'll face Ben Revere initially.
Scott Oberg had a clean inning yesterday in Philadelphia. He's able to use his fastball and his off-speed pitches to get ahead of hitters. Going to need to do the same with Ben Revere, which this is nice for the Nationals, having a leadoff type hitter hitting 8th.
Oh, 0-1 on Revere. 0-2 on Revere. Clint Robinson is going to hit next. He'll pinch hit for Blake Trinan.
That's a nice night for Trinan. 1 pitch, double play. What's your night?
That's as economical as one can get. 1 pitch, 2 outs. I suppose you can have 1 pitch, 3 outs. Sean Kelly. These are games that fall into the category of good teams expect to win them and mediocre teams hope to win them. Rockies endeavoring to get over that hope and start to fall into the category on a regular basis of expect.
That's where the confidence in baseball just comes into play. And oftentimes it takes a special win, where you win a game where you weren't supposed to win, and now the team starts showing up and you go, hey, we're a good baseball team. And the opposite can happen.
Well, the Rockies felt that 2 weeks ago, and then you had the 3 games. Not to put it, it's never on one group.
No.
But, you know, the bullpen had that bad stretch, and they didn't put away the 3 games where they had nice leads late.
It really couldn't have happened at a worse time. When you're playing your best baseball as far as the pitching goes, the starting pitching, and you're getting timely hits.
Descalso catches that soft liner, 1 out.
Then you're playing teams that you're breathing down their necks, and the Dodgers and the Marlins. Kind of look at that one homestand, the previous homestand, where you're playing your best and you leave Coors Field with a losing record. Tough pill to swallow, and oftentimes that'll catch up to you.
Yep.
It's hard to have that confidence that you believe every single night you're coming to the yard and you're winning when you lose a lot of heartbreakers.
1-0 on Clint Robinson. I grew up in the Kansas City organization. Big time minor league pop, hit 141 home runs in 921 minor league games. This is going to be an impossible play, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, wow, wow. Just to make it a play.
I have no idea how he even made this close. In the shift, he's thinking to use his glove, then he decides to go bare hand.
That was right in front of the Washington dugout, and I think they were blown away. I don't think there's many players who would even attempt to throw there. They just eat it.
Wow. That's incredible. You could show every single view and we could enjoy watching it.
Trey Turner singled and scored last inning after stealing a base, moving up on a fly ball. And that is the difference in the game right now, that run by Turner. Two and 0. Turner's freshman year at NC State stole 55 bases, pulls this one foul. And Billy, that's what you play about 56 games in a college Division I regular season. He stole 55 bases.
That's why he was the first round pick for the San Diego Padres. For the Nationals, has played several games at short. He's played some games at second. He's played some games in the outfield.
It was a three-way deal that brought him here, where Will Myers ended up going from Tampa. They were the other team involved. Will Myers ended up going to San Diego. Fourths and seconds, all you're going to get. Good job again by Nolan.
If Nolan tries to throw the baseball to first, I don't think he gets Turner at first. I think the only play that Nolan had was to get the slower runner in Robinson.
Yeah, there was no way he was going to get Turner at first. And obviously you want to get the force if you can anyhow. So now Turner maybe looking to run here with Worth at the plate. Get the whole litany of moves from Scott Oberg right here. Turner did not go, and it's a strike.
Some players will get frustrated, hitters will, if the runner at first is fake stealing. Because a hitter, especially a right-handed hitter, will see the runner take a couple steps and will take. Veteran hitters will often tell a young rookie that maybe has that as part of their bag of tricks to stop. If you're going to steal, steal.
Ball and a strike on Worth. Walk, two-run home run, single. And if not for a good play by Charlie Blackmon, would have had another hit. They pitch out, runner going, and still unable to get Turner. 12th stolen base.
I think it's Willie Mays Hayes. Good jump this time. Even on a pitch out, and it was a well-located pitch out. Threw it up in the zone for Nick. Clean transfer. Throw was not on line, but even if it was on line, Man, that kid's fast.
You know, it's interesting. He went in feet first on his first stolen base, and he went in head first there. Usually guys are one or the other. He's both.
Well, you'll see guys dive head first when they think that they're going to get tossed out so they can move their hands. Try to avoid a tag.
3-1 on Worth.
And I'm sure Jason Worth, being the veteran that he is, has probably told Trey Turner at second base, hey, with 2 strikes, 2 outs, you don't have to try to steal third. You're in scoring position. Don't distract the hitter with 2 strikes.
And a strikeout of Worth will end the inning. Turner left at second base. We'll go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Rockies trailing 5-4. David Dahl will be first up. Rockies and Nationals, first game of 3 here at Coors Field. Rockies had the early 3-0 lead, and now it's 5-4 Washington. Rockies in the bottom of the 8th inning will send up David Dahl. New arm out there for Washington. One of their setup men, Sean Kelly. He strikes out a high number of hitters, and he has strike 1. This guy's been around a while, 31-year-old. Saw him with San Diego last year. League hitting just .223 against him. Dahl whips the bat through. 0-2. Gave it a 2-run double back in the first inning. 1 for 3.
Kelly ranks second with all relief pitchers with his strikeouts per 9 with 13.7. There's no secret what he has. Fastball, slider. That's it.
And he strikes out Dahl. One guy. Daniel Descalso coming up. UC Health is tracking the number of walks and the distance the Rockies earn throughout the season. Start tracking your own steps today to get fit. So far, the Rockies have walked 380 times, 34,200 feet of exercise. Descalso, sac fly, triple, and a ground ball to short. Wow. I disagree. Brian Gorman. No way. He didn't go. That's not a swing.
Nope. It's close.
It's closer than I thought, but I don't think he went. But you got 2 more strikes to work with. That one he did go.
I think a hitter will appreciate, even though you're not getting the call from the third base umpire that you'd like, you do like the fact that Quinn Walcott behind home plate is asking another umpire if you went. Nothing frustrates a major league hitter more than a check swing being called by the home plate umpire.
Stayed off that high fastball.
Hitters always feel that the umpire has enough going on trying to track a baseball. Being able to see a ball if it's in the dirt, a swing is nearly impossible.
Oh, we were just down in Arlington, and Shin-Soo Choo just returned to the Rangers, and now he's going to go back on the disabled list. He was hit on the forearm tonight by a pitch and broke his forearm. Good swing by Descalso. A lot of guys been hurt with hit by pitches of late. Matt Holliday. Descalso staying alive with that foul ball off his leg. Huntley on deck. Rockies with 10 hits, 4 runs, 5 runs on 9 hits for Washington.
Even though Sean Kelly only throws 2 pitches, fastball slider, with his arm swing is short. Hard to pick up whether it's a fastball or slider. He really sells it, just like when you hear guys talk about selling a changeup, making sure your arm speed and your action mimics your fastball. Kelly does the same with his slider action. Good at bat.
Great at bat. You ever had an bat where you're fouling pitches off and you're saying, how am I not hitting that squarely?
All the time. You get a hit 3 every 10 times, you're good. So majority of the time you're an out.
Murphy runs to the bag, 2 outs. And that'll bring up Huntley.
Catcher, number 4, Huntley.
Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs in a game.
See if that 11 pitch at bat by Daniel Descalso wears out Sean Kelly, where he makes a mistake to Nick Hundley.
Two strikes. thrown 16 pitches since he came in. Managers, players behind him love this. He's hit the strike zone 13 out of the 16 pitches, so there's no messing around. Rockies have seen Kyle Bearclaw. He's got great stuff, leading the league in strikeouts out of the bullpen per inning pitch. And then it's this guy, Sean Kelly. Nats have the #1 pen by ERA in baseball. And tonight, on a night they get only 4 innings out of Max Scherzer, they've had his back, 3 2/3 scoreless so far. And a strikeout, 2 of them in the inning. 1, 2, 3 for Kelly in the 8th. We go to the 9th. Washington by a run.
Score of 5-4. Mark Stout getting ready for the Toyota postgame show. Corey Sullivan, Jeff Houston will join me. The Rockies are 8-16 this season in 1-run games. Can they improve on that today? We'll see here as we get to the 9th inning against the Washington Nationals. We'll break down Max Scherzer's start. We'll break down Jorge De La Rosa's start. Charlie Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, they stay hot at the plate, but the Rockies need to buckle down here in the 9th and see if they can come from behind and get a win as we go back to Drew and Spilly, guys.
Yeah, they haven't done a whole lot of that this year, unfortunately. Pick off late wins when they're behind. Adam Ottavino has not had many opportunities to throw the baseball lately with the Rockies behind. He'll throw the 9th inning, try to keep it a 1-run game. The Rockies in the bottom of the 9th will have Paulson, a pinch hitter, due, and then Charlie Blackmon.
Otto has the current active 27 2/3 inning scoreless streak going on and facing the heart of the lineup for the Washington Nationals.
Daniel Murphy, Bryce Harper, Anthony Rendon. Murphy takes ball 1. Murphy is 1 for 3 and a walk, an RBI single in the 5th. Leading hitter in the National League. The pop up to left field. David Dahl glides in. Let me ask you something. He's a terrific outfielder. We've watched him in spring training. We know this by reputation in the minor leagues. But he consistently lets the ball drop below his eye level, and instead of catching it above his head, he catches it below his eyes to the right. He does this a lot.
Reminds me a little bit of Devon White, Andrew Jones, Dexter Fowler. They all did it. All excellent defensive outfielders. It's not my favorite. Prefer seeing the textbook way of catching it a little bit out in front of your nose, keeping the ball in front of your eyes.
Bryce Harper's had a big night. 2 walks, 2 doubles, and an RBI. He's remaining down for the moment.
Slider down and in. Fouls it straight off his back foot. It's a fastball down and in, and he fouls it off his back foot.
That one doesn't get hit as much as the front foot.
Nope. It's rare that you see a back foot get hit.
That'll leave a mark.
Not a good mark.
Here's the 0-1 from Otto. He zips a slider back in there. It's 1-1. Another base hit. Everything has been
in the one spot.
In that same spot.
Another mislocation. Otto knew it. Huntley's going to have to reach back inside to catch this baseball. Basically, the Rockies are throwing the ball into his wheelhouse. See mislocation. Watch Nick Hundley have to reach in. About the only spot that Harper's able to hit it in.
He gets leg drive, doesn't he?
He does get some great leg drive, but it's pulling himself off the baseball. Not a lot of plate coverage.
Rendon gets frozen on that slider. It's 0-1. Called strike at 94. 2 strikes on Anthony Rendon. Harper takes off. Adam Ottavino is not allowed a run in his last 33 appearances. It's 5 shy of the record set in 2011 by Craig Kimbrell. 38 straight appearances without allowing a run. And of course, he has a 27 2/3 inning scoreless streak. By far the longest in baseball. Out of Baltimore, Zach Britt. See ya. Rendon was, I think, hunting slider. Whatever he's hunting, he never moved his bat. 2 outs.
Otto can get good baseball. Can get that fastball to run back. It's a high two-seam fastball that runs back over the plate just above the belt. It's a strike on the Subaru strike zone, and Rendon knows it.
Wilson Ramos in a 4-3 game. The Rockies in front. Led off the 6th with an opposite field home run over the auxiliary scoreboard against De La Rosa. Tie the game. And a wicked slider for a strike. Ramos is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. This is going to be an easy play for DJ. Catch and step on the bag. We will go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies down a run. Chuck Nasty will hit 3rd in the bottom of the 9th. Inning. Washington has a new closer. Jonathan Papelbon lost his closing job and was just last week sent packing, and Mark Melanson, who was acquired from Pittsburgh, is their new closer. He's been outstanding so far in the role of 9th inning man for the Washington Nationals. The Rockies have seen him now 5 times this year, and they've had some success against him. They scored 3 runs in 1 inning against him. They were unearned, but the Rockies have forced a couple of walks, 4 hits against him. They have produced traffic in each outing that Mark Melanson has faced his hometown team. Mark, of course, from Golden High School.
Leading off is going to be Ben Paulson, and Ben Paulson is 1 for 1 against Mark Melanson. Melanson has one of the better cutters you'll see in baseball, and was one he picked up in New York when he was under the tutelage of Mariano Rivera, but didn't start throwing it really until his time with Houston. Spent a lot of time with Brandon Lyons, relief pitcher, who too had a good cutter. It was because of Brandon that really told him to start using that pitch, and it's changed his career.
8-9-1, and this is a base hit deep short, and Espinosa has a big arm.
Wow.
He got his right foot to it. He got behind the baseball. One of the stronger arms of shortstops in the National League. He demonstrated it right there, 1 out.
It's a backhand for Espinosa, but it takes a weird hop where he has to reach back. He reaches back with his right arm and fires it across the infield. Melanson appreciated it.
Eduardo Parra will pinch hit. Rockies tried to rally yesterday in Philadelphia, down 3 runs in the 9th. Nick Hundley had a soft single to drive in 2. All of a sudden it was 7-6. And Parra was up. He fired at the first pitch and flew out to right field with a couple in scoring position.
barking with Quinn Walcott behind the home plate. Did not like the location of that first pitch. Thought it was inside. Ends up being right inside the Subaru strike zone.
Back up the middle, sharply hit. That was gloved as well by Espinosa, and they're 2 outs.
Join UC Health on the field for the game morning track 1K before the game against the Cubs this Sunday, August 21st. Go to Rockies.com/walktherockies to purchase your special ticket package today.
Well, Charlie Blackmon, the last hope for the Rockies. In the 4th inning, he hit his 6th home run in 4 ball games. This one National League Player of the Week honors, and now he's up with 2 outs in the 9th inning, down by a run. And it's a weak ground ball to second, and the Rockies fall in game 1 against Washington, 5-4. Solis gets the victory. He's 2-3. Jordan Lyles takes the loss. He's 3-4. And Mark Melanson with a 1-2-3 9th earns his 34th save this year. The Rockies have now lost 10 of 12. And on a night, Spilly, where they run off Max Scherzer after 4 innings and had a 3-0 lead in the first. This is also one of those tough ones to take. They got nothing done against the bullpen of Washington.
Look at it, and the Rockies are grinding against the best team in baseball, arguably one of them. 23 games now over 500. Mention it, once you jump out on a guy like Max Scherzer and you don't find ways to score more runs, you're going to lose to a team like the Nationals, who do not stop.
So again, the final score, it's Washington 5, the Rockies 4. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Bryce Harper, he was perfect. He drove in a run with that double. He was 3 for 3 and a pair of walks. Just a second game back after missing 5 with a neck injury. So Washington rolls on. They're now 70-47. The Rockies fall to 56-63 as we go to center field. Mark?
All right, Drew, the Rocks stuck on 56 wins, that for the better part of a week now, losing again tonight.
Yeah, and they had a good opportunity. They took the lead 3-0 early, but couldn't hold it, unfortunately.
And another 1-run loss. It's 8-17 now on the season in 1-run ball games.
We'll talk about it. Toyota postgame show rolls your way next.